Welcome back. The 26th of June is a black day in Indian democracy. This is the day when the emergency proclaimed by the Indira Gandhi government in 1975 came into effect and triggered a period which saw blatant repression of freedom and free speech and gross abuse of unlimited power. Here's our report.
26th June 1975. 40 years on this day. Like any other day, the sun came out, but darkness chose to stay put. And it just aggravated with each passing day. There was a peculiar ambiance in the environment. Police deployed at public places. The people, as usual, waited for newspapers in the morning to arrive in their homes, but the worst news came via the AIR. In the news bulletin on All India Radio and at 8 a.m. in the morning, the then Prime Minister Indira Gandhi's voice could be heard. Indira Gandhi made an announcement that emergency has been imposed in the country. Newspapers could not be printed because late night the power supply was cut in newspaper offices. And little that was published was seized by the police that raided each source of news and papers. Opposition's top brass were arrested across the country. The then Prime Minister Indira Gandhi's challengers Jayaprakash Narayan, Morarji Desai, Ashok Mehta, Atal Bihari Vajpayee and L.K. Advani were put behind bars. Over a dozen organizations, including the RSS, were banned. It did not take long for people to understand that rather than quitting after the Allahabad High Court verdict, Indira Gandhi imposed emergency to save her chair of Prime Ministership. The night of 26th June was so pathetic that people could not sleep, as they feared that never will there arise any dawn, hope of democracy and freedom. Government intensified its oppressive tactics. Over 1 lakh innocent people were arrested across the country and tortured in jails. Press censorship was imposed and literature and movies were banned. But the forces for democracy were not afraid and continued their struggle. And finally, after 21 months, Indira Gandhi had to withdraw emergency. 26th June always evokes memories of that black day of emergency, and democratic forces protested so vehemently that such a black day has never dare cast its evil eyes on the Indian democracy again. News Night Desk, DD News.
Many people were at the receiving end of the state excesses during the dark months of the emergency. Just how was the atmosphere then and what difficulties people faced can only be recounted by those who faced it. Many people have shared their experiences of the days of the emergency with DD News. Here's a look at some of those reactions.
सुबह के समय उन्होंने टॉर्चर शुरू किया. जो सहाय एसपी थे उनके सामने मुझे पहले तो पीठ पर मुक्के मारने शुरू किए 2-3 पुलिस वालों ने, लेकिन उसका भी कुछ खास असर नहीं हुआ. तो फिर उसके बाद टॉर्चर का दूसरा रास्ता शुरू किया, जिसमें ज़मीन पर लिटाकर पैर के तलवे ऊपर करके पैर के तलवों पर डंडे मारे गए. इसके बाद तीसरा कदम शुरू हुआ, जिसमें जैसे फुटबॉल की बॉल को सब तरफ से लोग किक मारते हैं, उस तरह से मारने का शुरू हुआ.
RNG साहब का रोल, रामनाथ गोयनका का रोल बहुत ही ह्यूमन था. उन्होंने मेरे को जब कुलदीप को अरेस्ट किया तो मेरे को टेलीफोन किया कि तुम घर में हो. मैंने कहा हाँ जी, मैं आ रहा हूँ. उनके नहीं, अभी आप उठे हैं हार्ट प्रॉब्लम से, मेरे यहाँ सीढ़ियाँ हैं, तो आप प्लीज़ तकलीफ़ ना करो.
बड़ौदा जेल में तो मेरे परिवार को काफ़ी परेशान किया. मेरी पत्नी रेलवे डॉक्टर, उसको भेज दिया पाकिस्तान, सीमा भेज दिया उसको. और छोटी बच्ची बेटी थी, उसको ननिहाल चलेगी नाना के पास. परिवार मेरा छिन्न भिन्न हो गया. मैं जेल में और पत्नी और सब बच्चे बिखर गए. तो उसके बाद यातना का दौर शुरू हुआ.
Now, Finance Minister Arun Jaitley was also among those who was put behind bars during the emergency. He's now said that the path of dynastic politics in the country is a direct byproduct of the emergency. He also said that many institutions utterly disappointed during that period, and that emergency left a permanent scar on Indian democracy in the form of dynastic politics. He was speaking after unveiling a book written on the emergency by senior columnist Kubi Kapoor.
Amongst various institutions, unquestionably the Supreme Court was the most disappointing one. I think emergency itself left a permanent scar on Indian politics. The whole institution of dynastic political parties started with the emergency. And that is one great aberration of emergency which has continued till today. And in that sense, the evolution of India from a normal democracy to a dynastic democracy, this whole process started actively with that phase.